Pretty Sober, the show where recovery meets real life. And I'm your host, Glammo, your new sober bestie that's half bougie, half ghetto, but always 100% real. Listen, I started this show because sobriety ain't just about putting the bottle down. It's also about filling your cup back up with joy, peace, boundaries, and yes, lip gloss for Sunday service. Okay, y'all, so I needed to get comfortable. I had to put my little earphones in, and my AirPods won't stay charged for nothing, and I have no idea why. So I had to buy some little dollar headphones so y'all can hear me as I articulate the most important thing I have to talk about. Just kidding. So yes, I wanted to talk about how sobriety does not have to be boring and that it can be lit, right? And it all depends on like what your personality was before you became sober. For some reason, I've never had a quiet demeanor. I've always been a chatty patty. Always had a pretty big personality. So I don't know, was it that trickery of the alcohol that made me think that I was going to be like this, like have this boring life? I think one of the things that I've learned about myself, well, that I kind of always knew about myself, is that I really like my solitude. I like being by myself. What I don't like is being lonely. I don't like the feeling of being lonely, but I'm a loner, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that makes sense. So I did used to tell my best friend, like, I always feel lonely. And that was one of that's because I wasn't emotionally sober either. Like, I wasn't taking care of like my emotions, and I wasn't taking care of my mental health. And I had become an empty nester, and I was so used to people being in the house, or so used to having children in the house, that after 20 years or so, like I was a full-time empty nester. My sons live in another state with their father, and they're here. They come visit like on the weekends and in the summer. So they're never here like full time anymore. And let's not even go there as far as me trying to get them to have an extended stay. That's a different story, but for a different day. But so I was dealing with that. I didn't know how to deal with being an empty nester, number one. So I would always feel lonely, and I would always express that to my best friend, like, because also I had never not been in a long-term relationship either. So I would have, even if I wasn't with somebody like in a committed relationship, I would still hold on to these people in some capacity, where we were talking on the phone, or we were texting, or we were going out like randomly or whatever. But when I decided to get sober, I decided to get rid of all of those relationships too, because they weren't serving me in my sobriety. So now I didn't have those either. So it was, I was dealing with, I don't know, I was dealing with a lot of stuff. I feel like I was dealing with a lot as far as the loneliness tips. So I think that's why I thought in the beginning, like, sobriety was going to be like so boring and so lonely. I think as I went on my journey, I know y'all like quit saying, but that's how I talk. Because I try to think about everything that I'm saying just to make sure I'm either articulating it right or it makes sense. I so it's interesting because I decided to become sober on July 31st, which we know is like midsummer. Midsummer. Summer is when you are like outside. Everybody's outside. Everybody wants to have a cookout. Everybody has something going on in the summer. But yep, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired on July 31st, and I decided to go sober. Interesting enough, one of my homegirls had a housewarming. She was having a housewarming like 2 weeks after I decided to go sober. So that was the first event I can remember going to and actually having to think about drinking, because it's a housewarming party, so of course there's going to be alcohol there. And that was interesting because I went and I showed up and she's like, I got some non-alcoholic drinks in the refrigerator. Do you want one? And I'm like, wait. She's never offered me a non-alcoholic drink before. But come to find out, my best friend had told her that I wasn't drinking. So she accommodated me and had some non-alcoholic beverages there. Appreciate it. But that was the first time. I didn't even want to drink, though, because I was so dead set on I'm not drinking. I didn't even want to drink, but that was the first event I had went to where I was like, I actively have to think about whether I'm going to drink or not. And also, mind you, my homegirls' friends were all new to me. Like, I knew a couple people, but these people were new. And so I didn't know, like, did I need to drink to meet new people, to interact, to, you know. But it turned out, it ended up being cool. I didn't really have any nerves or anything. I wasn't nervous, or like, my personality was still my personality. So I thought that was cool. I was able to not drink, got home at a decent hour. I'm trying to think about the next. Oh, actually, that summer was full of events that I got invited to. So then another one of my homegirls, she had a bachelorette party. I ended up going to that and not drinking. But my best friend was really supportive through these times. Like, she didn't make a big fuss about me not drinking because she's not like a heavy drinker either. But also she was able to, like, you know, be supportive in the role of just if I didn't want to drink, she wasn't really drinking either. So yeah, and at the bachelorette party, my homegirl had, what's the because I don't remember now. Beyonce had a new whiskey that came. Oh Lord. Oh my God. What's Beyonce's whiskey? I forgot the name of her whiskey. Sir Davis. Beyonce's whiskey had came out, and it was a Cowboy Carter themed bachelorette party. So we dressed up all in Beyonce theme. And my homegirl had got gifted Sir Davis for one of her bachelorette gifts. And everybody's taking a shot. It comes to me, do you want a shot? And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. But I can remember in that instance feeling FOMO. And I didn't show it that I was feeling FOMO, but I could feel in that instance like, damn, I really want to try this Sir Davis. But was it worth it? It definitely wouldn't have been worth it. And I was only like 3 weeks. Yeah, I was only like 3 weeks sober or something. So I could have easily just been like, I'll start over. Because The only thing I really had in stone for not drinking was me saying I was done drinking. Like, so yeah, that just that just brought me back. I was really like, damn, I want to taste this Sir Davis, because like it was new. It was Beyonce. It was like, I want to taste how, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I kind of had FOMO on that. And that was the only thing I really had FOMO on. But then the other interesting thing is being the only sober person and like watching people's drinking progress, like watching them change while they're drinking. Not that it was like a bad thing or anything like that. It was just more so like just seeing people transform. And I had never, cause shit, I was transforming with them usually, right? Because I was drinking too. Um, yeah, so that was an incident. And then the same homegirl who had the bachelorette party, she had a wedding. Now the wedding, really, really nice wedding. The wedding, I had no desire to drink at all, which was because by the time the wedding had came, I was kind of like, I was on it. I'm not drinking. Like, I wasn't drinking. I was going to support groups every day. I was doing like, they say you're supposed to do like 90 and 90. I'm sorry. I don't know what they just said. But they said you're supposed to do like 90 meetings, 90 days. So I was actually, because these support groups were on Zoom, so I'm doing them like all day. So I was in these groups all day. So I had no desire like to drink at all. I'm being fed like AA rhetoric all day. So there was no desire to drink. During the wedding, they had a point where they had to switch over from the wedding venue to the reception. So we had about 30 minutes. We needed to leave to go somewhere. So they decided to go to a bar up the street. And I'm just not that person that's like, because I'm not drinking, I don't want nobody else to drink. I also knew how like dangerous it could be from what I was hearing in the meetings, right? How dangerous it could be for me to go with them to the bar. But, I was seeing everybody drink, and I was just like, no, I'm not drinking. I don't want anything to drink. They buying shots for everybody, and it's, no thanks, I don't want anything to drink. So I survived the wedding and the reception. No drinking. I didn't even want to drink. But I enjoyed myself. And my thing, I had started realizing, oh, I'm still having fun. Like, this is still fun. It's not like I'm just like feeling like I'm missing something. I'm still having fun. Like, I'm enjoying people. They're able to enjoy me not being like pissy drunk and loud and just overbearing, over the top. Like, so that was the event where I realized, oh, I can have fun. Like, this is fun, and this is different. Like, seeing my personality sober around different people. So that was another event, and this is still very early on. So this is what I mean, as far as getting sober and still wondering if it's going to be boring or not. So, like I said, this was the middle of the summer. It was lit. It's lit. Yeah. So it was lit. So then we go into the fall. I'm still doing really good. We go into the fall and we go to a R&B concert. Now, this is my first concert that I'm going to without drinking, ever. I've never, wait, I might be lying. I'm not going to say never, but I don't remember the last time I had been to a concert without drinking. It had been a while. So I'm like, I'm going to this concert, and it's an R&B concert. So if you know me, you know Music is my jam, but rap, that's my real jam. R&B, I like R&B, but this was like a full R&B concert, and it wasn't Beyonce, and like Beyonce is like Beyonce. So, but this was like an R&B concert. So, this was one where I got to that concession line and I saw the little White Claw drink, and I'm like, dang, I want one of those. And of course, I'm saying all of this to myself because I don't want to say it to anybody else. Like, the desire was real that time. Like, when they say burning desire, I had a burning desire. And it was like, I'm not sure what was going on as far as why I felt like my nerves were bad. I was anxious. I was extremely anxious at that concert. I know I was anxious. One of the reasons was because my skirt was super short and I felt like my butt was hanging out of it. And I'm not even exaggerating. I literally thought my butt was hanging out the skirt, but I apparently, and I know it's true because I took pictures, of course. Apparently, like, the skirt stopped right at the bottom of my butt. But I had on some opaque, is it opaque or opaque? You know, whatever. I had on those tights. So you couldn't see anything, but I could feel a draft. So I was very self-conscious about this draft. And going up the escalator, I was just really self-conscious about this skirt because I felt like my outfit was too little. But nobody was telling me my outfit was too little. So that's how I felt. It might not have been true, but I think I felt that way. So I was feeling really anxious, and I'm like, I really need a drink. I really want, like, yeah, I had the desire. I had the desire to drink. But I did enjoy the concert. So it had nothing to do with, like, I couldn't have fun because I wasn't drinking. Now, that was also the first time that I realized, like, oh, you got to deal with, like, your emotions without drinking. So whether you're mad, whether you sad, whether you anxious, whatever these feelings are that you're having going out into the crowds, into the world with these people, you got to deal with that without alcohol. And so I was dealing with it. So yeah, that was a thing. I remember that. I was trying to, and before I got on camera, I'm like, I can't think of, like, if I wanted, but I had to take myself back to the actual time. And that was definitely a time early. So after that concert, I was kind of scared to go out. Yeah, I was scared to go out to, like, I was picking and choosing, like, where I would go because I didn't even want to have the desire to drink. And I knew I was strong enough to be like, I'm not going to drink if I don't want to. But it's also, when you get to that point, it's like, am I going to say, you know what? I just thought about it again. Before I went to that concert, me and my best friend went to brunch with a set of her friends. And they were all ordering drinks, of course, like mimosas and stuff. I think they had like bottomless mimosas. And I got a what is it called? A spritzer. Because I never can say the name. Erispo. Yeah, a spritzer. Like, but not alcoholic spritzer. And I'm also one of those people who, I don't like substitutes for stuff. Like, if I can't have it, I just don't want it. So just bring me water. But everybody else is drinking bottomless mimosas. And I'm like, wait, you know what? This is actually after. That was after the concert. So that was the next event after. So clearly my life is still turned up. But I'm just not drinking alcohol at any of these things. But it's always a decision that you have to make. And being an alcoholic, you have to be conscious of it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a fake and act like I'm sipping this fake drink or whatever the case may be. You can't, because your mind gets to playing tricks on you, and you see everybody out here sipping their real drinks and having fun and unwinding and being silly, and like you want to partake in it, but you can't. And I think that's one of the good things about me. I know there are some people who are really sticklers about, like, if they're not drinking, they don't want other people to drink around them. I'm definitely not that person. Please get loose. Turn up. Do you? I've never been a person who's been influenced by what other people are doing. So I'm basically from the school of, what you eat don't make me shit. And if you want to have a drink, have a drink. If you don't. But also that just brought me, you know what? I was going to cover this. I'm going to cover this in one of the real podcast episodes, but that just brought me to, when you're going out with people who are not drinking, just because you don't drink, don't be a killjoy. Because these people actually think they have to give you an excuse as to why they're not drinking or why they are drinking, or I really don't like that. I don't like people feeling like me not drinking has something to do with them. I don't care what you do. I really don't. I don't care. I'm not judging you. I'm the alcoholic in this situation, not you. I'm not counting nobody's, like, I'm not counting your stuff. I don't care enough. I don't care. Drink yourself under the table. You got to live with yourself in the morning. Shit, I know I done drunk myself under the table many a nights and down the hill. So many a night. And I had to live with that in the morning. So I'm not here to tell nobody. I'm not here to be the drinking police. That's not what we came for. Now, I'll be the designated driver, but I am not the drinking police. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to explain to me why you drinking. You don't have to tell me, like, oh, this just my first drink tonight, or this just my first drink this week. Girl, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. It could be your third bottle. I don't care. That's none of my business. You know what my business is? My business is me not drinking, okay? The only time we got a problem here is when you offer me a drink or you try to make me feel bad for not drinking. And that's definitely coming in the next episode, because I was definitely prematurely dating. And that person got super upset with me because I would not drink. Although I explained I don't drink. So I think they thought it was a game. And we did go to a bar on a date, but that still ain't got shit to do with me because I'm not drinking. I know that I'm not drinking. Like, yeah, so I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem being around alcohol. I don't have a problem with it being in my vicinity. This is me talking, not you. If you know that you can't smell, handle, have a temptation, all of that, if you know that's not for you, don't do it. Don't even do that to yourself. But for me, I know that that's not going to make me drink. The only thing that's going to make me drink is me saying, I want to drink, and taking a drink. And I'm just very committed to this process and very disciplined in this process, that I know I don't want to drink. That I know that drinking could kill me. Now, what you do with your drinks is what you do. Don't worry about what's in my cup, because I'm not worried about what's in your cup. What's in my cup is in my cup, like Lil Wayne said. Okay? This is my cup, not your cup. But no. So that I just came to drop that on y'all, like, for no reason. This episode is really for no reason. This is just a preamble? A preamble to the next episode that you'll get on Sunday, pretty soon. So hit that link in the bio and subscribe. Tell your mama. Tell your cousins them. And tell that sober curious homegirl. Cause around here, we not just sober. We pretty sober.